Isn't it funny how we can think that we know something, but if someone asks us to explain it in detail, sometimes we end up stumbling a bit and going back to correct ourselves. And that's when we realize that we didn't really know it. Telling what we think we know is a powerful tool that we can use to make sure we've really got it, that the knowledge is our own possession. And it's a tool that we can teach our children to use too. Here's how. Welcome to the Simply Charlotte Mason podcast. I'm Sonia Schaefer. Be sure you're subscribed. We bring you new encouragement and Charlotte Mason training for homeschool parents every week. This idea of finding out how much you really know was brought home to me when I was arranging to have lunch with a friend. We were trying to answer, one of the most difficult questions that can ever be posed to two people. Where do you want to eat? I had spotted a pizza place recently that looked promising, so I suggested it, and she agreed. We had a winner, until she asked me where it was. Now, I had a general idea of which road it was on, and I had mentally filed it under between home and church, but I couldn't get much more detailed than that. Thankfully, she popped the restaurant into her mapping app, and it told her what I could not. But it was a bit embarrassing. And it reminded me how often we think we know something. We think we've made it our own until someone asks us to explain the details. And as we fumble for the right words and go back and correct ourselves a few times, we realize how casual our knowledge really is. Charlotte Mason hit the nail on the head when she said, "Whatever a child or grown-up person can tell, that we may be sure he knows. And what he cannot tell, he does not know." A Philosophy of Education, pages 172 and 173. If you want to truly know something, make sure you can explain it to someone in your own words. Retelling something in your own words is a great way to self-educate. Many of us use the technique quite naturally when we're recounting conversations in our own minds, or telling a friend about a blog post we read or a movie that we saw recently. And Charlotte realized that tendency. She said, "Now this art of telling back is education and is very enriching. We all practice it. We go over in our minds the points of a conversation, a lecture, a sermon, an article. And we are so made that only those ideas and arguments which we go over are we able to retain." A Philosophy of Education, page 292. This same method can be used to help a person remember anything she's trying to learn. Once you retell something, it sticks in your own mind. And Charlotte Mason built this technique into her approach to education. It is called narration. Narration is different from answering direct questions on the content. Narration requires a much higher thinking level than fill-in-the-blank true, false, or multiple-choice questions. It requires the student to pay full attention to the content, retain it in her mind, arrange it in the correct sequence, put it in her own words, and give it back in coherent sentences. So when we ask a student to narrate, we don't ask questions that can be answered with one or two words taken directly from the content that was read or observed. We don't ask, "What were castles made of?" or "How long was Nelson Mandela a political prisoner?" Rather, we ask open-ended questions that invite the student to tell what she learned in her own way and in her own words. We use questions such as, "Tell what you know about castles," or "Tell all you can about Nelson Mandela's life." And as the student retells what she learned, she is solidifying that knowledge in her own mind. Narration is such a powerful tool that it can be used with any of your students' senses. She can tell about her experiences and what she is learning as she reads a book, or listens to music, or looks at a picture, or smells a piece of leather, holds a frog, or taste tests a new recipe. And all of those opportunities are included in a Charlotte Mason education. Narration is used in subjects that use living books. Now, if you missed that episode on living books, check the description for a link. But she also used narration in subjects that use observation skills, such as picture study and music study. I'll leave a link to that episode too. So give your student practice by asking her to narrate what is read in history, geography, Bible, science, and literature. Anytime you use a living book in a subject, ask for a narration. Then also give her practice narrating from her other senses. Ask her to describe a picture, to tell about a piece of music, to explain how she would solve a math problem, to tell what she noticed in English grammar, and to share her observations in nature study. All of these subjects offer opportunities for your student to practice this powerful tool for self-education. And once she gets comfortable with narrating by retelling, you can branch out and ask her to narrate in other ways. Narration can be done by talking, but also by writing, by drawing, by acting out, and much more. I'll leave a link for you to a list of more than 50 ideas for narration. Let me give you some tips to help with narration. Tip number 1, start short. Just as with any new tool, don't overwhelm your student when you introduce it. Start by reading a short passage, then pause and ask her to narrate just that portion. After she has narrated that, you can do another short passage and ask for a narration on that bit. And as she gets more comfortable with using this tool, you can gradually, little by little, nudge out the length of the passages you are reading, until eventually your student may be able to pay attention to a whole chapter, retain it, and narrate it in her own words. But keep in mind, as we talked about last time, the key is comprehension, not speed. It is more important that your student makes this knowledge her own than that you finish a book on a certain date. Keep the lessons short, the priority on knowledge, and go at your student's pace. Tip number 2, don't interrupt. When your student is first starting out with narrating, she may fumble around a bit, or she might mix up the sequence at times, or she might insert the word then at the beginning of every sentence. That's all right. As with any tool, she will get better the more she practices. One of the quickest ways you can discourage your student in narration is by interrupting her as she is retelling. Think about how it is for yourself. If you're in the middle of sharing a story and someone interrupts you, either to correct what you said or to add his own idea into the mix, it's easy to lose your train of thought. So try not to do that to your student. Now, for some of you, this won't be a problem. Don't interrupt. Got it. For others, it might be more difficult. Those of you who love to talk with other people might feel an overwhelming urge to chime in and make this a discussion rather than a student narration. But do your best to wait. Allow your student to finish retelling all she can first, and then you can share and discuss other ideas that relate to what she said. But try not to interrupt. Tip number 3, make it relational. The beauty of narration is that it respects each student as a person. It allows each person to take from the reading or the observation what resonates with her. When your student narrates, she's doing a very personal thing. She is allowing you a peek inside her mind to catch a glimpse of what is important to her, what stands out to her in that moment. That's a vulnerable position, so honor it. Narration is more about celebrating what your student does know than testing her to find out what she doesn't know. It's a wonderful opportunity to wonder, and grow together. And if you are faithful to ask for and listen to your student narrate, you will find that this tool strengthens your relationship with her, even as it encourages her to form personal relations with what she is learning. To make that knowledge her own, narration is a powerful tool for self-education. What questions do you have? You'll find answers in our free ebook called 5 Steps to Successful Narration. And let me recommend 2 other great books. One is called Know and Tell: The Art of Narration. The other is called Your Questions Answered: Narration. Check the description for links to those very helpful resources, or leave your question here in the comments. Narration is an integral part of a Charlotte Mason approach for a reason, and we want to help you give your student practice in using it. Next time, we'll talk about the 4th tool for self-education: record. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you then.